Hey everybody, it's time for another real life superhero costume intro for various type of videos. And this time, this is my skinny jeans, sweat, and tracksuit with or without zipper and without sweat jacket, dress jacket, track jacket, and sweatshirt with collar. Which some of those looks haven't been seen or debuted on here yet, but they will be in the future. This is with tank top instead. Yeah, the entrance theme will be the same as the similar sweatsuit with tank top, and that's professional wrestler Dolph Ziggler. Nick Nemeth's Wanted Man will be the intro. Yeah. Have a Toxic Crusader review coming up, and I thought that cartoon deserves a brand new that review deserves a brand new costume. So that's what I will be doing. That's what I will be doing next. That will be uploaded immediately. That will be recorded immediately after that. That's what this intro will be, the first video review with this costume. So with that being said, let me get started. There will only be one walkout theme. So with that being said, let me get started right now.
Oh my god.
Hey everybody, it's time for my larger nighttime part 2 on camera standing up for the first part, real life superhero review and overview of the Toxic Crusaders cartoon. This video portion right here will be me talking about episodes 1 through 7, and then the remaining 8 through 13 will be the next part, and that part will be sitting down. This part will be standing up. I don't know if you can see it from this angle, but the prop I'll use is one of the new sticks I found outside 2 to 3 weeks ago. 2 to 3 weeks ago, when I thought I lost one of my sticks that I just ended up replacing. This is the closest to Toxie's mop. Yeah, this is Toxie uses a mop, so this will be a weapon. The Toxic Crusader reviews, the on-camera webcam reviews, the real-life superhero reviews, they will be weapons prop reviews. So Yeah, in the future with a slightly different costume, with slightly different costumes, I may do. Actually, I definitely will see can I get the downstairs mop to complete the gimmick, to complete the Toxic Crusader, Toxic Avenger gimmick for the Toxic Crusader and Avenger reviews. But right now, this is it. So, with that being said, the episode that will play in the background is what I consider one of the best episodes of the series, and that was episode 7, Mr. Earth, the superhero Mr. Earth. That episode will play in the background. So with that being said, let me start it and get started right now.
The Crusaders work for the environment, that's right. They're good cartoons and they're environmental. Oh, greetings from Philadelphia, Kitty. I'm your Uncle Lloydie.
Yeah, the Toxic Crusaders. This is a really old cartoon, almost three.
Crusaders. Yes, you know these cartoons were created long before
three decade plus cartoon is the Toxic Crusaders. Been around since 1991. With actually, this is I think it aired a little bit before that in 1990. But I definitely, for me, I consider 1991. That's the year I mostly associate Toxic Crusaders with.
All this great merchandise to show.
This was a short-lived cartoon that aired aired for 13 plus aired for 13 plus episodes that became a huge following. Well, anyway, this old franchise I discovered in recent times. This has been around, like I said, for 3 decades, but I discovered it in 2014 accidentally on Hulu. Back when Hulu was free, you can go there and watch anything. In the recommendation advertisement box, I saw an advertisement for the Toxic Crusaders cartoon, and it looked cool, like some very cool some obscure cool mutant superhero based cartoon. And what caught me off guard is see when you look at the poster of the Toxic Crusaders, it actually looks to be a serious comedy cartoon, much like other cartoons like X-Men, the Teenage Mutant Turtles, and the Bionic 6 superhero cartoons. Those cartoons have silly and goofy moments and episodes, but for the most part, the shows were for the most part serious. They took themselves seriously. This show, it caught me off guard because this show was the total opposite. It was a straight up superhero comedy and parody that parodies comic book and superhero cliches with a very cool environmental theme. And then when I researched the cartoon, I heard that it was based on the film. I watched all 13 episodes and the movies, and I've been a huge fan of the Toxic Crusaders since. And I consider this cartoon and the comic book to be the best. The comic book and its cool Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo game to be the best in the Toxic Crusaders, in the Toxic Avenger franchise. Yeah, they recently made a new Toxic Avenger movie, a remake of the 1984 classic. But I want to see a live action version of this. I wanted Toxie, Major Disaster, No Zone, Headbanger, Junkyard, Dr.Killemoff, Bonehead, Psycho, and many other characters we saw in the Toxic Crusaders cartoon. I wanted them in live action with real people, actors, costumes, special effects, CGI. This cartoon brought to life. Instead, they just made another Toxic Avenger movie, which is cool, but I want to see a live action version of this. Is the coolest. And the Toxic Avenger is brown. The cool green, the iconic green design. This iconic green design, in my opinion, is way cooler. They obviously did that to tone it down to avoid any negative racial stereotypes, which were hilariously parodied in the Boondocks, which is my first official actual introduction to the Toxic Avenger. was a Boondocks joke, but my first, that was my first unofficial introduction. My official was, like I said, was 2014 on Hulu, and been a huge fan ever since. But like I said, the show caught me off guard because throughout the show you had the villains, Dr. Killemoff and Psycho, and you had the Psycho, the half mutant, half cyborg character who has the uncanny ability to predict the future and predict the plot of the episodes and the flaws in the main antagonist, Dr. Killemoff, one of the coolest bad guys ever's plans. He has the ability to predict the future, that Dr. Killemoff will come up with a genius plan. And then Psycho will predict, well, what if the Toxic Crusaders, the good guys, what if they're in this spot, or what if this happens? What if this happens? And Dr. Killemoff would always either just ignore him, scream at him, or punish him for his witchcraft, but it would turn out to be true. And once again, when I say the characters don't take themselves seriously, everyone, including the villains, recognize that they're in a cartoon. Everyone knows that this is basically. Everyone knows that this is basically a cartoon, which is also part of the fun, which is part of the fun. I like all the characters in the show except for the overall actual main antagonist that even my boy Dr. Killemoff takes orders from, and that's the mutant cockroach bug Zarzosta. Yeah, my favorite character, my top favorite and best characters are Toxie himself, Major Disaster, No Zone, Headbanger. He only appeared in one episode, but the guest starring character, Mr. Earth, another guest starring character, Snail Man, another guest starring villain, Mole Man, Dr. Killemoff. Yeah, Dr. Killemoff, Bonehead, who is based on the thug, the bully Bozo from the first movie. Psycho, who I mentioned can predict the future. Yvette, who is based. Yvonne. Is it Yvonne or is it Yvette? Yvette or Yvonne, who is based on Sarah and Claire from the live action films, and of course Mrs. Junko, of course based on Melvin Junko's mother from the live action films. These are my top favorite and best characters. The plot is loosely based upon especially the first episode is loosely based upon the 1984 live action film. It features Melvin Junko, who works at the Tromaville gym and is typically harassed by the bully punks. Bonehead, and this is Yvette, Bonehead's girlfriend, and Bonehead and his girlfriend Yvette, who are based on, I think, Bozo and Scuds from the film, and I keep forgetting the two females from the film, and that's who these two characters are based upon. Yvette pretends to be interested, just like the movie, Yvette pretends to be interested in Melvin, and whispers in his ear to put on a tutu. Melvin foolishly agrees with it. The only difference between this cartoon and the movie is that this being cartoon, Melvin is dumb and foolishly goes along with it, whereas in the movie he at least questions it first, but he quickly goes along with it. He shows up to the room, and everyone laughs at him. He flees the scene, embarrassment, trips, and falls into a trash can of chemicals that Dr. Killemoff foolishly ignored Psycho's prediction earlier, that Dr. Killemoff randomly put in Tromaville, when Psycho told him that what if some hopeless nerd falls into the chemicals and becomes a hideously deformed monster of superhuman size and strength. That's a running gag and a running catchphrase and meme throughout the show and the movies. And he transforms into a movie producer, then an actor, then something else, and a school teacher, and then finally Toxie himself, a green, hideously deformed mutant of superhuman size and strength. After scaring his mother, his mother, while feigning, tells him to go to the junkyard. He goes to the junkyard where he encounters Yvette. He encounters Yvonne playing her accordion, and Bozo and his thugs try to take it from her. Toxie comes to the rescue, cleans house on Bozo and his thugs, and knocks Bozo into a trash can of toxic chemicals and turns him into a mutant skeleton zombie hybrid creature. And Bozo since then joins Dr.Killemoff to get revenge on Toxie. First, Dr.Killemoff lets Bozo get revenge. Bozo goes there, but Toxie easily beats up Bozo and the Radiation Rangers, especially when he's helped by two other hideously deformed toxic Crusaders. Major Disaster, who is like Swamp Thing, he can control plants. And Nozone, who has super sneezing power. He can sneeze and cause people to blow, and has a funny shaped nose and a wheel for a foot. Major Disaster was a military surgeon, was a major in the army. That his airplane crashed into a vat of chemicals, and he gained tree creating powers. Nozone, I keep forgetting, he was a pilot, and something happened to him, and he transformed it into what he was. Yeah. They clean house, and Dr. Killemoff is forced to flee, with Psycho predicting that he should listen to him earlier, with Dr. Killemoff hilariously throwing Psycho out of the plane. In the next episode, which wasn't exciting as the first, but was even better than the second one. Dr. Killemoff comes up with a plan. Dr. Killemoff, who, by the way, his whole plot throughout the series is to invade Earth and contaminate. Create a machine that contaminate the air and make it hospitable for his people to live and breathe there. In the process, this will kill everyone. This will kill everyone on Earth. In this episode, he comes up with a goofy plan to mess with kids' food, fast food by planting some special salt that will turn people putting something into fries that will turn people, that whoever eats it will turn them into old people, to turn them to old forgettable old people. And with this plan, he gets Dr. Bender, mad scientist Dr. Bender, to come up with the chemicals, and then he has Fender, a surfer dude, deliver the message to Bender. During the mishap, Bender tries to make Fender taste it, but Fender doesn't want to, and this causes both of them to get trapped inside the Atom Smasher, which puts them together. Dr. Killemoff says, so then they could carry out Dr. Killemoff's plan at the restaurant. Toxie and the gang are on their way to beat the living daylights out of Dr. Bender and Fender, but Fender and Bender see Yvonne, and they wonder who she is. Toxie says that's his nearsighted girlfriend. So then they decide they want to be good guys because the good guys get all the chicks and the bad guys don't. But No Zone says they have to at least help the people first, and they come up with a cure. They come up with a bubblegum cure that turns everyone back to normal. And from then on in, Fender and Bender join the team, and they're renamed Headbanger. In the third episode, they get an invitation to a club dead, where Dr. Killemoff sends a giant sludge monster called Paluto to deal with them. In this episode, they meet the the they meet the fourth Toxic Crusader, the fourth or fifth Toxic Crusader, and that's Junkyard, who was a regular dog, and human, who both got merged together through toxic through toxic chemicals and pollution. So pollution and such. Sorry, I was checking the time. Yeah, who got merged together through pollution. In episode 4, Major Disaster. Keep forgetting her name, but he gets crushed in what you call it in episode 5. Keep forgetting what episode 5. Oh yeah, episode 5 and 6. Zarzosa, the actual main antagonist, makes his debut, and I hate this character. I hate how he bosses around. Killemoff. I loved it. I can't wait to talk about his downfall in the second half. In the second half, where he's featured more in the second half of this series. Then you got episode 7. The greatest episode ever, where they meet one of my favorite characters. He was only a guest starring character, but Mr. Earth, who has I have multiple real life superhero costumes, and I like Mr. Earth because he was the most realistic superhero ever, and I've had multiple costumes like his. His costume is a pair of tights, high top Chuck Taylor Converse, footwear, socks, short gym trunks, a shirt with sayings and imagery on it, a cape, and a superhero face mask, and gloves. I have outfits just like that, minus the cape. Yeah, like they say in Incredibles, no capes. And some cool wrestling headgear, which I have too. He's a hero coming from another part of coming from New Jersey, another part of coming from Jersey. He's a hated hero coming from New Jersey via bus to Tromaville, and he wants to join the Toxic Crusaders. However, he can't join because he has no real actual powers other than saying the alphabet backwards. He's not hideously deformed. His costume is cool, but it wasn't made through some environmental accident or hideous mutation like everyone else's was. And he's not. And while he's strong, he's not superhumanly strong. Even though he does display several superhuman feats throughout the episode, so he can't join the Toxic Crusaders. So then Dr. Killemoff notices him and tries to get him to his side. Where Dr. Killemoff has his goofiest plan yet. First, he convinces Mr. Earth, who's not too bright, that he's invisible by having him put on a small dress shirt called the Cloak of Invisibility, where Dr. Killemoff and the bad guys pretend he's invisible, and Mr. Earth buys it. So then he goes back to fight to confront the Toxic Crusaders. And once again about joining, and he says he has the Cloak of Invisibility. Them, and especially the girls, especially Yvonne and Mrs. Jungle, who are even harsher, usually burst his bubble and give him a huge dose of reality. But then he reveals that this was all a ploy for Dr. Killemoff, to distract him, when Dr. Killemoff attacks Tromaville with literally a giant boot that he plans to drop onto Tromaville, and together Mr. Earth and the Crusaders repel his invasion and foils his plan. But Mr. Earth, instead of staying and joining the Toxic Crusaders, he decides to go find his own Tromaville. He decides to go find his own Tromaville city, get his own superhero television series, merchandise and everything. He gets back on the bus to the boos and jeers and signs and annoyance of a lot of people. The coolest guest starring character, the coolest and most exciting guest starring character this show had. The other two cool guest starring characters are in the second part. Yeah. So this is first part of the Toxic Crusaders. Before I close out, other things. Nah, I can say those in part. I can say those in the next part. Alright, people. It's now time for the second and final part of my Toxic Crusader review series. The first part, episode 1 through 7, is more exciting. But episodes 8 through 13, storyline wise, were way better. Even better than I remember. It's one of those shows where it was awesome the first time around. It's surprisingly even more awesome the next several times around. Yeah, this is episodes 8. This is episodes 8 through 13. I'll also talk about things I didn't talk about in part 1. So yeah, this is the final part. And as you can see, I'll be sitting down here. I'll be sitting down in this portion. So with that being said, let's get started right now. Episode 12, one of the scariest episodes of the Toxic Crusaders will play in the background. An episode I don't remember watching during my first several viewings of this show until my most recent viewing this year. So with that being said, let's get started right now.
What's that, Toxie? Yes, that's right. The Toxic Crusaders work for the environment. That's right. They're good cartoons and they're environmental. Oh, greetings from Cloverville, kiddies. I'm your Uncle Lloydie, and welcome to the lovingly recreated DVD of the original TV show, The Toxic Crusaders. Yes, you know, these cartoons were created long before you were born. Before your mommy and
Toxic
daddy
Crusaders. Before I get started with the episodes,
yes,
some things I didn't mention
were on their way
in
to a huge success like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Do you know what syndication means? Yes.
Some things I didn't mention in part 1. Oh yes, other facts about this show. See, this show, as awesome as it was, during its initial run, it wasn't that popular. It wasn't that popular, and it was quickly canceled after 13 episodes. And several reasons for its popular, for my opinion, several theories I have for its cancellation. The first obvious one is the fact that, well, once again, this was another rated R, the ultra-violent franchise that they transformed into a kids cartoon series, which, believe it or not, I have no problem with, especially since, like I said in part 1, I thought the Crusaders cartoon was better than that of the live action film series, the Toxic Crusaders cartoon series. And while the Toxic Avenger films were not meant for kids, take a look at those films. Look at the main character, Toxie. He's a hero. The only thing scary about the film are the criminals and bullies in those films. Sorry, I felt a bug. Sorry, I felt something scratching me. Are the criminals and bullies Are the criminals and bullies in those films, and the bloodbaths, the fatalities, Toxic Crusaders, the Toxic Avenger, Toxies, his brutal murdering of them, which brings to the second reason. But other than that, Toxie, he's a hero. I can see why you can market him for, you can tone him down and market him for kids. So that goes out to all the detractors who criticize this awesome underrated cartoon for not being the M-rated gore fest the film was in turning an M-rated gore fest into a children's cartoon. Yeah, the material was for adults, but it's something a kid, a teenager would get into. It's one of those things where you gotta be yeah, a teenager and younger to appreciate or like. Yeah. So yeah, that was the top. So yeah, that was that. And then the second reason it was canceled was what was the second reason the show was canceled? What was the second reason the show was canceled? Oh yeah, the second theory I have is the action. Now yeah, they could have the Mortal Kombat style bloodbaths and fatalities we saw in those movies, but you could at least have more hand-to-hand. You could at least have more hand-to-hand comic book superhero action. This show has action scenes. The show has action sequences, but it's mostly the characters using their powers in non-threatening ways. One of my only issues with this show, Toxie using his mop just to hit people or do some kind of cartoonish trick. Major Disaster using his plants to throw dirt. Oh yeah, to throw dirt. Oh yeah, to throw dirt at radiation range instead of like using his trees to like strangle someone, or or using his vines to tie someone up instead of using his tree powers to crush someone, or using his ropes to strangle someone. No zone, blowing people out of the way, like blowing radiation ranges out of the way like a bowling ball. And speaking of the radiation ranges, yes, this has their own foot soldiers and stormtroopers. Their own. Dr.Killemoff has his own generic group of identically marked henchmen in identical costumes who are just cannon fodder for the main heroes to beat up. The main heroes to beat up. So the main heroes to beat up. So yeah, that was
Now that's what I call a flower bed.
That was so yeah, that was other things, and I think the show would have lasted longer had the show had more action. But other than everything else, the artwork, the action, the artwork, yeah, the artwork, the action, the animation, the storyline, the music, everything, and the voice acting. With all your voice acting was awesome too, where Roger Compass, Squidward, voices both Toxie, the main protagonist, and my boy Dr. Killemoff, the main antagonist. The late Ed Gilbert provides the voice for Major Disaster. The late Michael J. Puller provides the voice of Psycho. I think Hal Ray provides the voice of Bonehead. John Mariano provides the voice of Bender. I keep forgetting who voices Bender. And Kathy Sue, the legendary Kathy Sue voices Yvonne.
Even a special big surprise at the end of the show. Oh!
So, yeah. Episode 8 was the weakest episode. It was Toxie Ties the Night. It featured an obese alien woman. An obese alien woman who was, I think, some kind of daughter, some kind of sibling or daughter to some kind of sibling to the main antagonist, the overall main antagonist, Zarzosta. She comes to Earth and immediately wants to marry Toxie, and Toxie has to marry her, or something about. Something about Zarzosta or someone invading Earth if Toxie doesn't accept. So the Toxic Crusaders find a way to crash the wedding, and the obese alien woman develops an interest in someone else, and yeah. Episode 9.
Speaking, Mop.
Episode 9, probably the greatest episode ever, the invasion of the body snatchers, in one of the biggest plots of the series, and one of, actually it wasn't Dr. Killemoff's plan, this was what made it interesting, in one of the supervillains, Zarzosta, the supervillains' best plans. This is one of the many times the Toxic Crusaders came close to being defeated. Zarzosta is fed up with Dr. Killemoff's failures. Dr. Killemoff reminds him, and hilariously reminds him that had himself, Bonehead, Psycho, and the Radiation Rangers defeated the Toxic Crusaders in the last several episodes, they wouldn't have much of a series. But still, Zarzosta is mean as ever and replaces Dr. Killemoff. With a general from his army called General Garbage, which is a pun on garbage. Garbage, who has these tiny bugs that get inside. That get inside its host. Then copies its host and creates an identical clone with 2 extra arms, 4 arms basically, 2 extra arms to replace them. And they tie up the real ones. They do this to all the moms in Traumaville, including Toxie, Melvin Junko's mother, Mrs. Junko. This plan, then the Toxic Crusaders, under orders from Mayor Grody, they are relocated to Siberia. Siberia, thus leaving no one to guard Traumaville, and Traumaville is conquered by Garbage. Dr. Killemoff, Bonehead, and Psycho are impressed, but are mad because now that Garbage succeeded, they're out of a job. So for the first time ever, Dr. Killemoff is impressed with Psycho's plan and prediction that the day can be saved, they can get their jobs back if you somehow bring the Toxic Crusaders back to Traumaville. If you bring the Toxic Crusaders back to Traumaville, and this happened, and Dr. Killemoff does. He goes to Siberia and meets with the Toxic Crusaders personally and tells them they can come back to the Toxic Crusaders come back. They shrink Garbage and he retreats and go back, and as such, Zarzosta is forced to put Dr. Killemoff back in charge, and everything is back to normal. One of the many times, I love this episode, was one of the many times when boy Dr. Killemoff was a hero. Yes, hero. Yeah, Zarzosta and Garbage were terrible villains. The main antagonist should be Dr. Killemoff and his boys. Yeah. Dr. Killemoff. So Dr. Killemoff. So everything is back to normal. Episode 10. This episode brings another character to the franchise, and that's the character of Snail Man, who has his own every time he appears on screen, he has his own comedy theme. He calls it Snail Man. Snail Man. Every time he appears on the scene and every time he fights in the series, he's a cool race car driver, snail hybrid mutant of superhuman size and strength that was a regular race truck driver, but he crash landed into a thing of snails, snails and some radioactive snails or snails pollution. Anyway, either the radiation or pollution, one of those plus the snails bonded them together and transformed into Snail Man. Yeah, Snail Man. He receives an invitation to join the Toxic Crusaders after helping them numerous times in the episode, but refuses as he believes his place is in the water with the other snails. So Snail Man. Not as exciting as Mr. Earth, but you got to see more of Snail Man. He was way more competent than Mr. Earth. Mr. Earth wasn't. He got a better episode, even though I enjoyed Mr. Earth's more. So Then you got 11, which Toxie gets his own Toxie Catmobile, which Yvonne foolishly believes when Toxie falls in love with his car, Yvonne thinks it's when Toxic not falls in love. When Toxic says he loves this car, Yvonne thinks this Toxic is seeing another man. She constantly comes up with a song, which is another running gag. She constantly tries to sing. She constantly tries to come up with songs that because nobody likes. Nobody likes her singing. In one episode, she accidentally destroyed the viewers' television sets, and the Toxic apologized to the viewers. They will replace all the television sets. And in one episode, No Zone was usually one of the nicer characters in the show, was harsh. Where Yvonne has a thing where she sings a song called "They're the Toxic Crusaders, they're the Toxic Crusaders, they're never really wrong, they're the Toxic Crusaders." They always sing that, and every time Yvonne sings it, No Zone first, he said, you sing that song all the time, but you're not really a Toxic Crusader. And then later in that same episode, when Yvonne sings the song again, when they sing the song again, they say, we're the Toxic Crusaders, and No Zone says, except Yvonne, we're the Toxic Crusaders, except Yvonne. Yeah, but everything is resolved in the end. Episode 12, the Mole Man episode, Still Crazy After All These Years, which is what the title of the episode actually called. This is the darkest episode of the Toxic Crusaders, and it features the third guest starring character, except this one is an antagonist. This character, Moorman, was a regular gardener who got locked inside a shed. That caught on fire and fused him together and transformed him into a superhuman mutant gardener with scissors, with scissors for hands, and I think a chainsaw for one of his legs. And he approaches Dr. Killemoff for a job after Zarzosta quickly demands that Dr. Killemoff hire another bad guy, which Dr. Killemoff doesn't want, because the show doesn't need a superhuman size and strength. But in this episode, Psycho and Bonehead are actually competent, as they actually capture Major Disaster and hold him prisoner for a while. Major Disaster tricks Mole Man into letting him go, and meanwhile, this whole thing is a distraction to plant a giant seed that covers Tromaville, and some eerie horror music plays in this child-friendly cartoon, and it's just one of the main times the Toxic Crusaders were close to losing. And then finally the giant plants bond and become one giant Voltron style of plant monster. The Toxic Crusaders are unable to stop it. It takes Melvin Junko accidentally saying prune when she refers to her food to Mole Man, and this causes Mole Man to go into a cutting frenzy and cut everything, including the monster, including the monster, and the Toxic Crusaders clean house of the rest of the people doing what she calls it. Mole Man is fired, and at the end of the episode is looking to apply for a new job. So yeah, Mole Man was cool and was probably one of the more threatening villains in the Toxic Crusaders, besides Killemoff himself. And you got 13, the series finale. This was the season series finale, but just like a lot of short-lived shows, episode 13 went out with a bang. Dr. Killemoff came up with his biggest plan yet, to get Toxic's mom working for him. During this ensuing chaos, Dr. Killemoff and Mrs. Junko switch bodies due to an accidental invention developed by Dr. Bender. Dr. Bender, and this whole thing is a distraction. This whole thing is a distraction while Zarzosta plans a gigantic invasion on Earth. At the end, when the Toxic Crusaders manage to switch and get major disaster, get Dr. Killemoff back to normal. Oh, you get Dr. Killemoff and Visit Melvin and Visit Junko back to normal. They managed to get both of them back to normal, and both of them, and both. And at the end. Dr. Killemoff, Bonehead, Psycho, and Radiation Rangers flee in their ships, and meanwhile the Toxic Crusaders blow something at Zarzosta that sends him all the way back to Dr. Killemoff's headquarters, to where Zarzosta swears and promises to make Killemoff pay for this, but he says, "Oh, you'll pay for this, Killemoff, you'll pay." And after a huge rant says, if I can ever find you, and yeah, like I said, they went out with a bang. They stopped Zarzosta's final plot. They didn't bring any of the bad guys to justice, but they stopped Zarzosta's plot, and Killemoff's a cool bad guy. So happy to hear that he got away scot-free, and Zarzosta technically is the only one to totally lose here. Killemoff and them lost, but they got away, and Zarzosta was the ultimate super loser in this episode, and I like it because I can't stand Zarzosta. Every time I see his ending, I cheer, I raise my hand, I go out of my seat. What an awesome way to end a show. It was short-lived, it should have lasted longer. At least they went out with a bang, and I'm happy that they're coming out with a new video game. They're coming out with a new video game, which the video game continues pretty much where this episode leaves off. I saw the demo, which you can watch on here. The video game will come out sometime this year, and Killemoff in that demo, he references this series right now, where he says for years he didn't try to correct himself in his days. He's been trying to stop the Toxic Crusaders. So been thinking about Toxic Crusaders, definitely thinking about still trying to make that Toxic Crusaders live action film. Yeah, I may have to make it. I may have to write a script, come up with a script and have Hollywood make it. But I'm not sure about another comic book or picture novel, because Toxic Crusaders, they don't need one. They got their own video game coming up. This year. So Toxic Crusaders, man. Awesome, super hilarious, action-packed cartoon. I always have a good time. I'm even now, my room, you can see, is kind of junky. It's because I have too much stuff. I have too much stuff. Now, rewatching the Toxic Crusaders, I now take pride in this junk-like room now, in my way of living after rewatching the Toxic Crusaders. So the Toxic Crusaders, an awesome cartoon. Happy I discovered this a decade ago, man. And it still as awesome now as it was back in 2014. It's even more awesome now. So, it was another fun cartoon to watch when you're in a bad mood, man. Yeah, because the cartoon is just downright hilarious. This was the entire season 1 review and overview. I will be doing the episode reviews to talk more about the plots of the episodes, because it was hard to watch and take up everything for a review. And I want to do as many reviews as possible. There will definitely be tiny reviews with the video game and comic books, which I'm reading now, coming in the future too. So, with that being said, to see the short part 1 narration, the link will be in the description box below, and my advanced thoughts on the video games will also be in the description box. Will also be uploaded with this. They're already uploaded, but they're on my channel for those who want to see those. Those won't be in the description box below. But Toxic Crusaders. Toxic Crusaders was an awesome cartoon, one of the best Teenage Mutant Turtles clones. So with that being said, you want to hear the rest of the music? Turn the video off right now.
Uh-oh, boss. When Zarzosa finds out about this, he's gonna really chew you out.
Killemoff! Once again, I've handed you the perfect cytotoxified snowmobile, and you blew it!
What is that?
I don't think it's the poof fairy.
It's a regular dental creature. The chew you out with.